Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. So I hope you enjoyed a bit of a funky, upbeat intro there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Welcome to the chat. Get in there. Let's say hello for sure. And woohoo! Sacrifice begins, says Alex K. Welcome back, Alex. Hope you enjoyed your day off. And wow, what a day to come back for sure. So really awesome stuff there. I'm going to check my audio is of course running well. Yeah, audio sounds good. Insert Ron Paul. It's happening meme. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I'll check that out. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Uh, awesome stuff there. Ross Z, good to see you in the chat. Hi guys, just sacrificed 1,000. Woohoo! Epic stuff. So we're obviously going to check out everything Pulsechain in this live stream. Everything Pulsechain, that is the topic. So Pulsechain, Pulsechain, Pulsechain. It is an epic launch. So yeah, let's keep it on topic too. Just keep it to Pulsechain and I guess associated things. Let's go for gold. Awesome stuff. So I'm just going to just switch out some of my screens here. So let's go for gold. I'm just going to be just switch a second, just remove it. And here we go. So all right, so we're back, folks. We're back. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's have a quick look. We've got property review in the house. Hey, Hex, doing so well. Hex is on the move up and up. Yeah, we're going to cover that too. And Alex Casey says, congrats, Rossi. Definitely congrats to you. Awesome stuff, folks. Really cool. Hope you guys can enjoy this. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this hangout. We're just going to hang out and watch this stuff. So we're going to get into all Richard's latest tweets since we did our live stream yesterday. So my video from yesterday was 10 minutes long and basically said that, the Pulsechain Sacrifice had launched. That was over 17 hours ago now. And also that it also showed you a quick summary of how to do your sacrifice. So awesome stuff. But we can see that Ross Z's in the house and he's already done his sacrifice. So awesome stuff on that. So really cool. Let's get straight into some of the stuff. So here we are. We're going to just, obviously Pulsechain is here, pulsechain.com. Now all the official links are in the video description and obviously you can go and double check those. But they're the official links if you want to get into the sacrifice phase that will bring you to pulsechain.com. And obviously you can open up the DApp from there and the DApp will open up the actual sacrifice address, which is pulse info, pulse.info with an S, pulse with an S.info. And then you just connect your wallet up, select your network, and away you go. You then send the amount to that sacrifice address. So it's that's what you do pretty much. All right, you've got to use a MetaMask wallet in particular. So there we are. Okay, let's just jump over to, we're going to get out of that for a second and jump over to some of the tweets as well. Let's just scroll back up here. Got to make sure I keep on to that chat. I've got that over there. Let me put that over there. Just reorganizing this a little bit. Let's go into Ross Z. Hey, thanks, Guy. Worth a punt. High risk, high reward. Yep, absolutely. And Philip Jars in the house. Hey, good to see you, Philip. Hi to you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and share, and hit that bell for notifications. And if you want to look to support this channel, look at the join button. And we've got 4 different options that you can join. Axionites, Elites, Heroes, and Krakens membership. So you can have a look at those 4 if you want to support this channel going forward. We're going to be covering Pulsechain. We're going to be covering Axion, and we'll obviously be covering other tokens around that in DeFi, including Hex, Wise, and other stuff like that. Compound, Aave, you get it. That's where we'll be covering. But Pulsechain is going to be epic for the next few months. So we're going to enjoy the ride and well into the future is my guess. So awesome stuff there. Well, let's quickly go some of the latest tweets since we did yesterday. I'm just going to go back up here and just see how far I've gone, just to get back to that meme video, which I thought was pretty cool. So we're just scrolling all the way up to the top of Richard Hart's Twitter feed, and we're going to check out some of the latest stuff that he's got here. Let's go back here. So I think we're just about up to, I think we're up to Yeah, well, here we were. So this was Richard Hart's live feed yesterday. It was hilarious, right? Hilarious stuff, and he was counting Bitcoin as with millibits in the good old Electrum wallet. So he obviously wasn't familiar with the at default in milli Bitcoin, and so that was pretty hilarious. And it's good he made jokes of that. Bitcoin sacrifices 10 hours ago had reached 4.3 million US dollars. That's how that rolled. He's also gone on about, obviously, is it too late to get into Hex? And obviously it's been up 10x since he did that original tweet there. Hi guys, and then something about $1 million raised in charity. Hi guys, are the cryptocurrency news sites hiding the millions of dollars in charity raised? That's for the Sense Foundation through the sacrifice. So that's pretty hilarious. Alex says this is a good place to track sacrificing of ETH. Assets only, including Hex, USD, and others. Yeah, we're going to track that. We're going to go to that in a second, Alex. That's awesome site. So we're going to do that in a second. We're going to have a look at the totals that are currently in there on the ETH blockchain. So awesome stuff. So we're just scrolling up here. COVID here as well. So we're just going to scroll up here with some nice artwork around Pulsechain. Look at that. That's pretty nice, actually. Oh, beautiful. Magnifique. So that's what you can look forward to. There, Ross C, you can look forward to one of those, picking up some of those Pulse coins like that. I think that's pretty neat. So awesome stuff there. I've been told, and this was 6 hours ago, I've been told that they received 5.5 million so far. Pulse info sacrifices look to be 80 million so far. Just reach watching this Ethereum address, and not 4,000 and 4,000 in Bitcoin so far. So that was pretty cool, and we can actually see that. This was 6 hours ago that it reached 80 million for the Pulse sacrifice so far. And then obviously there was some big news here around Elon Musk. So check this out. Actually, I've read this earlier. Elon Musk's cryptic tweet was it about Hex cryptocurrency? That was on the IBC Times. So that was pretty interesting stuff there. And then obviously Elon come moon with us. So really, Richard's targeting Elon Musk, obviously the richest person in the world that I know of. So pretty awesome stuff. And then just promoting this airdrop, any free money for you. You could trade it for something cool like Hex.com, or basically Hex or Pulse.com sacrifice. And that's Fox Shapeshifter. So there's actually an airdrop there. So check that out if you might qualify for that Fox Shapeshifter one. I'll just post that tweet actually. Was it the Fox airdrop? You might qualify for that, so you can check that out on that one if you want to check that out. Hey, Dylan Stewart's in house. If you can't sacrifice as much money, is there a chance you don't get any coins for your sacrifice? No, everyone will get some coins for their sacrifice there, Dylan. Yeah, cool. There, boom. All right, so that's that one there. And let's quickly jump back out of there. I think I've actually gone a bit far, so we'll go back out of that one. So that was the Fox airdrop, so you can check that out. What's on his Richard Hart's feed? There's a Sense organization 5 hours ago got up to 3,000 US dollars in the sacrifice. So that brings it to nearly $10 million in the sacrifice. Amazing result already, and we're only on, that was 5 hours. So it's about half a day into the sacrifice of 19 days, and we're already at 10 million for the Sense Foundation. Obviously, they're doing health and long life research, so that's how it. And also, he did a couple of things about the Bitcoin. Get in now with your sacrifice of Bitcoin and ETH, because if it does a full 85% kind of pullback in the bear market, then your value will be way less for the sacrifice as opposed, or you'll end up with way less Bitcoin and ETH in US dollars terms. So he did a couple of chants about that. So just encouraging those Bitcoiners and Ethereum holders to get into the sacrifice now with the better value. And obviously just targeting Max Kaiser, Pompliano, tag other Bitcoin guys. So just trying to get the word out there about the sacrifice. It does run over 19 days, so the more of these big players get in there, it starts to get noticed and spread the word around. So really getting that wildfire of noise around. Pretty cool stuff. And then obviously targeting Ethereum bros still with this stuff. So just encouraging other communities to spread the word around and get themselves in the sacrifice with the Pulse chain. It's going to be the biggest thing probably, but once again, it's still a speculative play, but does look super exciting. And then it's got I think Ethereum is vastly more awesome than it is now, but maybe people bought some non-wholesome things in the cycle too. Fortunately, Bitcoin still moves ETH price around quite a bit, and the BTC chart looks even worse. I'm personally improving ETH. I love it. You know, note the last cycle shifted to the left a little bit too. And then we've got then a bit more about the Pulsechain. But let's just quickly jump to the sacrifice amount. Let's go check and see what that is at the moment. So we'll just get into that. Alex K says, no, everybody will get their share. Absolutely. There is no hard cap. It will continue to meet total supply. That's right. We'll get into a bit of that as we go. But let's go and check out the actual balance on the ETH chain. And here we are, folks. So let's just refresh this. So this is actually the ETH sacrifice address everybody sends to if they're going to do ETH or ERC20 tokens. And you got OX9C and then 62CB. So you can see that is the actual address there. So what we've got at the moment, we've got 2.4 million US dollars in ETH. So we've got 1,247 ETH in there at the moment. And we've got, look at these tokens, ERC20 tokens, 124.3 million in those tokens. And it's only increasing, folks, only increasing in value. And also Hex price is increasing in particular. So pretty amazing stuff. Every time I refresh it, so it's 124,297. Let's see whether it's gone up. Yep, it's just gone up a little bit to 299. So it just keeps climbing, and we're only about maybe up to 18 hours now in the sacrifice. So we've still got another 6 days to go in day one of 19. Obviously, the first 5 days have the best dollar rate for the time bonus. But of course, the more amount that you get in there on US dollar terms, the higher the volume bonuses. So there's two together, the time bonus and the volume bonus. So that's important. So let's just continue to climb. Let's go in there. We can actually see that Hex is actually, there's 583 million Hex? 583 million Hex in there already, almost 584. It just continues to climb, staggering amount. And if you know total supply of Hex is, I think it's about was it 630 billion? We'll go check that, but I think it's about that. And a certain amount is only on the liquid amount. So that's actually, we say there's about 5% that's starting to squeeze out, because anything in the sacrifice dress will probably stay off the market, is hypothetically speaking, that we've heard from Richard. So that's just squeezing that down in the future. So that's going to create some interesting price action, perhaps during the Pulse sacrifice period or afterwards, because obviously all that stuff that is being bought is going over to the sacrifice address. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it being bought over. Some people will be holding it off. Some people will be selling into the price rise as it goes. So yesterday we saw quite a bit of stuff getting into, but we'll talk about that soon. I'm probably getting ahead of myself there. We've got $8.7 million in USDC coin, $7.5 million in DAI, $2.4 million in Tether. So these are all stable coins. Then we've got Chainlink, $720,000. Wrap Bitcoin, 237,000. Uniswap. Now, Uniswap I thought would be higher than this, and it may get higher over time. So it'll be interesting to see Unicoin. That's at 77,000. And we got Ren BTC at 27,000. We've got a few other tokens in there as well. Smaller ones. So interesting stuff there. Player 500X. When Hex goes viral, Axion will pump. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that. Hollywood Trump trader. The tens of millions has already been withdrawn for that address already. So the actual amount is a lot higher. Okay, so there has been some has already been withdrawn. So I haven't seen that myself. So thanks for that update, Hollywood trader. Appreciate that. So this apparently is even higher now. So some of it's been withdrawn. So I think, no, we've got that on the internal transactions. Not sure if that will show up there somewhere. But apparently this is already it's way higher than this at the moment. So very cool. Let's go in some of the tweets there. We might actually see some stuff on that. This is just to do the Pulsechain 1.x to 2.5 volume bonus ranking. Is only measured once. There's no daily rounds. The last 3 days are just flat at 1.75 bonus, and with the worst points per dollar sacrifice, it means it's so. The pressure is not to have someone outrank you, is rather continuous. So that's just around the gamification there. Yes, another $10 million sacrifice came in. So that was just another big one there that had gone in. So we'll go check that out. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I was going to wonder whether who said that Hollywood Trader. I was going to wonder whether we're going to withdraw some of those funds. So very cool. Let me jump over to, I think we're over to this one. There's that 10 million USDC coins sacrifice there. That went to the, looks like Coinbase, so it looks like the Sens Foundation one. Very nice. All right, so Pulsechain.com sacrifice mobile tutorial, so that was pretty cool coming up there. And hashtag Ethereum. Can you imagine a world where PLS, EHEX, and PX are the number 1, 2, and 3 market cap? I love it. I love the attitude. So awesome. You sort of bring it into being. Can you imagine a world where PLS, EHEX, and PX are number 1, 2, and 3 market cap? I can. So it's got Bitcoin there. That's I love this. It's got Bitcoin, Ethereum there, and obviously Hex rising up through the market. So awesome stuff. We're going to actually check that out on Nomics because pretty cool. So we're going to have fun with that. And then we get that's it. That's up. That's the latest tweets there on that one. We'll actually go to Pulsechain. I think that's on here. Let's go to not Pulsechain, Telegram. Let's go. I think we're on. There we go here. All right, let's just jump over back to this one. All right, so as the price goes up, so this is going to keep going up. I'm not sure where the transaction was, where they actually took some stuff out, but it's already back up to 126. So let's continue to climb. Tens of millions already been withdrawn for that address already, so actually a lot higher. Okay, sweet. So let's actually go into the Hex amount there, where we go in there, and we're going to have a look at all the amounts going in. So we can actually see 586 million in there at the moment, and we've got 106 million US dollars worth of Hex. I just see that Hex, some profit taking just happened there. Yeah, so it actually got up. Price has just been continuing to increase. Went to 4 hours ago, it was 18 cents. Then it went to, this is on the USD pair. Then it went to 19.3 cents 4 hours ago, sorry. And then then it had a bit of a pullback, and then it went back up to 18.3 cents. Then just in the last hour, current hour, it's went up to 18 cents. Just had a pullback. Now it's down to what's the price there? 16 cents. So a bit of profit taking going on, but you're going to get that as it goes higher. You're going to get OGs selling in, other people selling in. So you will get some of that big selling, but obviously a big sell must have come in there a bit earlier. Let's go scroll back down here because it was powering up quite a bit. So obviously the higher the price on the Hex, the higher the USDC value when people go to sacrifice it at any half an hour interval. So that's how that's playing out. So yeah, we've got a couple of sales in there, 18. Just trying to see whether it was something particularly large, 115,000 that came in. Let's keep going. So what's this one here? Yeah, so here's the big one here that pulled the price down. It was up at 18 cents, so it was getting pretty big. Then this address here came in, sold in at 900,000 US dollars worth on this one here, and so that the amount of Hex was 5.5 million X. So that's that address there. We might open that one up, have a quick look at that, and then we've had yeah, a couple others, sort of a mixed bag there. Yeah, some decent buys going in there, 200,000, 49. So let's actually see what that address has got. So they've got no Hex left. They've got the USD 1.6 million. And it'll be interesting to see how they play there. They may actually sacrifice USDC. You just don't know. People sacrifice the Hex to get a fixed US dollar amount. Sometimes they might sacrifice that as opposed to just selling into the price rise. So it's going to be some interesting play. Obviously, yesterday we saw people selling into. Saw people selling into the price rise here at around this 14 cent mark. This part here, people were selling into it. And of course, I was saying to some other people, oh, that's pretty risky, given the momentum and what's coming up over the next few days. And of course, been proven right there. The price just keep busting through. So those people that sold off, missing out on a lot of profits, you know, on there. So interesting stuff. Someone from the Telegram group witnessed the account of 103 million, and then it dropped to about 193 million, and now it's up over 100 million again. Okay, cool, Hollywood trader. All right. It looks like the Hex is the same, though. It doesn't look like any Hex has moved out. Alex K, he would have gotten more credit sacrificing it for Hex instead of selling it. What a pleb. Yeah, that's right, Alex. So it's hard to tell on that, but I think that some of that might be the logic behind it. It's already back up, almost back at 17 cents. So the market's already sort of buying that up. It's getting back up there. I think it's hunting for 20 cents and going to keep going. Like we said, if we break 15, then we've got 25 to 40 cents is on the table, right? And now that the phase is 5 days rather than 3 days, It's going to be interesting. Are we going to get a price rise where sort of like a hump on day 3 and then pulls back, or are we going to get a 5-day hump, or are we going to get a price profile that keeps going up over 19 days with a few flickers and a few pullbacks and a bit of wild volatility, but still manages to increase over time? It's going to be interesting gaming theory. Obviously, the later people got in first on the day 1. I mean, they look pretty good at 40.5 cents on day 1 on the opening. It was about 14.5 cents. That was a pretty good stuff. But of course, now it's even better getting USD Hex in at this price. So it's interesting game stuff going on there for sure. All right, so I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream. This is a pretty cool time just to hang out. This is a special time, eh? If you've missed out on the Hex launch, obviously many of us were there at the Hex launch, and that was a lot of fun. Day 1 was just adrenaline rush. It really was a lot of fun, and I think it was 23,000 ETH at the time that got into the day 1 for the Hex that was up for grabs. I think it was 1 billion Hex that was on day 1. And it was pretty fun times. And this is like what this is like. We're in day 1 of the Pulsechain sacrifice, and it's fun. But don't forget, we get to do this twice, right? We get to do the sacrifice phase, and we have, it's like the Hex launch, but then we get to the Pulsechain mainnet, and we start, all the prices start from 0. Pulse will start from 0. All the other ERC, ERC20s will start from 0, and then all be priced up. So it's going to be another, like, wow, it's going to be just a crazy time, party time. It's going to be really interesting stuff to see that play out. Dodre Prozinski, how do you calculate the points you get to your sacrifice? Is it 1-to-1 or more for sacrificing Hex? Both. Both there, Deirdre. So you can actually check out, we've got videos on this channel. Yesterday's video and the video before that, 2 videos yesterday, goes through all the points, so you can check that out. I will do a brief look at it a bit later, but we're just going to keep monitoring the amounts that are coming in at the moment. But do check out those videos, Deirdre, but I will cover that briefly a bit later. Player 500, what do you think will be a good entry into Hex when it corrects? It's hard to know, Player 500. What do you think is a good entry? Well, we just don't know how high it's going to go. I think it's going to break over the 20 cents, possibly by today, if not tomorrow. So it's obviously my speculation. My opinion is only not investment advice. Do your own due diligence. But yeah, I think that's probably it. I think that if we get over the 20 cents, then we could come back down to, if we get up to say 25 cents, 30, 30 in the 30 cent range, we could come back to test like 17, 18 cents is my thoughts on that. I don't know what Alex thinks. Alex, Player 500 says, I sold at 5 cents lull. Hey, that happens, that happens, doesn't it? I mean, did people think a couple of months ago that when we were down at, a third of a cent, that we'd be up at 17 cents? Right now, or that we would hit a 19.2 cents? No, I don't know anybody, even FOMO people. I mean, we knew that the profile was going to be pretty high. Into crypto, and a couple of those was at a price chart that was pretty bullish from that during this year. But it's pretty amazing to see that. There's a couple of people, I guess, that have had those profiles, but to actually get there is a different thing, right? To get there is a different thing. But hey, Richard made a comment in his video that he said he's not going to light his candles again. He said he was going to light his candles at 10 cents. He did that, and he did it on this live stream. I think that was his 3rd video that he did ago. So you can check that on his live stream on his YouTube channel. And that video's, I think the link's in the video description on that. So pretty cool. But he said he's not going to light his candles again until Hex reaches $1. And of course, Pulse is going to be in the game then too. So he's going to be talking about Pulse a lot. And we saw that Pulse Telegram is bigger now than the Hex Telegram. So Pulse is really going to be a big thing going up here at the moment. So it's going to be pretty interesting stuff. Alex K says it's just up and to the right. Don't sell unless you need the money. Yeah, up and to the right, up and to the right. So it's pretty hilarious. I agree. It's a money printed machine. Yeah, it is. So obviously Richard's in some sense is taking over a lot of crypto, right? He's saying I'm building better products, we've got bigger audiences, and that it's going to take over the top spots, and that's why he's talking about top spot 1, 2, and 3. And so hey, that's just what's happening. So move over because there's a bulldozer coming, and that's just what's happening. So you just can't get around it. Scarcity is becoming more scarce. Hex is going to become more scarce, and more investors are coming into the space. And then you've got the utility of Pulsechain, and that's taking the ire of a lot of founders of other cryptocurrencies. And that's Richard's mentioned that he's had people talking to him about that, giving him a call, stuff like that. I'm not sure how they do that, but that's what's happening. So there's lots of stuff happening in that space. So here we're already back at 17.3 cents, and someone almost sold it. That was $900,000. So it's pretty interesting stuff going on there. All right, let's go refresh here. We've got obviously the Hex balance here. Let's refresh this. Well, 586 we've got, and now we're up to 587.7. So we'll just continue to climb, and obviously the dollar value will climb as the Hex price climbs, and we saw the Hex price is now at 17.4 cents. So we'll go back, and let's go back to the main one there, and see how that plays out. So here we've got $2.4 million in Ethereum, 1,252, and $126 million so far in here. And what was it? Hollywood Trader said that someone said that 10 million had been taken out from one of those pools. I'm not sure which one that is. So yeah. All right, like a giant mining farm with zero overhead, says Alex. Yeah, it's actually like that. It's a bit like a printer. So like I said, Richard said that he's not going to be lighting his candles again until Hex gets to $1. I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff. And also, if you look at, of course, if you look at his, where was that tweet? Let's go back. I think it's up here. This was hilarious. Oh, where did I go? Yeah. Can you imagine a world where PLS, EHEX, and PHEX are number 1, 2, and 3 market cap? So in saying that, let's go have a look at nomics.com. And let's check out where Hex valuation is on that. Obviously, Hex is integral to Pulsechain. It's the kind of the golden child. So there we are. So the market cap of Hex, can you believe it? 99 billion. So that's obviously when the price had jumped over to 19.2 cents, that was over $1 billion. And and Bitcoin's coming down, Ethereum's coming down. And look, you've got the market cap of Hex is not 50%, maybe about 40% of Ethereum right now. So if Bitcoin and ETH keep going down, Hex keeps going up, you're going to get a flipping pretty fast. And that is mind-blowing. And if you don't get a lot of media, particularly crypto media, talking about that, even CNBC, stuff like that, talking about that, then they're crazy. They're off the charts, right? They're going to miss the whole thing. And before they know it, they're going to take the blinkers off, and Hex is going to be number 1 numero all around the world in crypto land, because scarcity is getting lower, and then Pulsechain is going to be on the game, and obviously that's going to be a superior chain to Ethereum. And remember, Richard was saying that there's only about half a dozen devs doing the Ethereum 2.0 or something like that. I mean, there's probably a few other people straying around, but he did post something, I think, from the lead devs, just saying he needs more people or something like that. So you can check that out for yourself. But that's sort of how that's rolling. Look at the volume now, 132 million in volume. So obviously some people used to say, oh, the volume's quite low, but look, we've rocketed to 132 million. We'll see how long that's sustained. Obviously, the less that's on the market, the less that's available to be bought. And I think a lot of stakers are staking longer. A lot of the Hexkins don't want to sell. A lot of the new people are getting educated. You'll always get some sellers. That's always just the way it goes. But it's certainly looking like the holy grail potentially is in place here. And just like on the ETH chain, when you've got the big whales, a lot of them don't end up selling their big bags. They just, because they could just sell a bit of ETH off every year to pay all their bills that they need. And I think you might get to that situation, in fact, in the Hex/Pulse scenarios as well, but for different reasons, because they're both different products, right? So Pulse is a chain, and Hex is a certificate of deposit. So they're both different offerings, but it's going to be interesting stuff to watch that for sure. Property View, hey, nice Hex price is Property View, yeah, absolutely. Alex, hey, check out the advertisement at the top of Nomics. Oh, I'll check that out. Sorry, I missed it. Oh, there we are. Oh, awesome. So look at that. Oh, nice one there, Alex. I missed that as I was going on there, because I just scrolled straight down and you saw me do that. The largest free airdrop ever. Cheaper, faster fee burning Ethereum fork. Claim your free PRC20s, and there's a nice little airdrops. Go to pulsechain.com now. So that's pretty hilarious. Now we know that the snapshot, for the lack of a better term, the snapshot will be at the end of the test net, the public test net of Pulsechain. So that's going to come out, and so we know that that's going to be the case. And then obviously, if that all goes well with the public testnet, I don't know why I put the quotes up for public testnet, but public testnet, then if that all goes well, then yeah, we'll get some sort of fork snapshot, and then obviously Pulsechain will then launch. So it's going to be interesting to see the time gap between that and the sacrifice. So when the Pulsechain public testnet launches, I'm sure that's going to put more fuel, more FOMO in the fire. So we'll just keep a keen eye out for that. That could really reignite the sacrifice even more. And obviously, Richard's put out the word to spread the word about Pulsechain and the sacrifice phase and get the community, which is pretty large, right? The community is pretty large in the Telegram chats and everywhere else. And there's a lot of other people that aren't even in there that are watching and looking. So it's going to be interesting times for sure. So fun stuff there. Hope you guys are enjoying that. Really cool. Let's have a quick look here. We've got Alex A. Property Review Indeed, says Alex. And Credit Deposit Crypto is a nice little title for a news bit. That's true, 500. And so is Brave Browser going to advertise Axion? I saw an update about Brave and Axion. Yeah, but that's a different topic. So we're going to be talking about that later in the day. They're 500, but that is correct. So they're going to be doing a second big campaign with Brave Browser. But once again, we're going to try and keep this to the Pulsechain launch. And we cover different topics in different videos generally. Sometimes later in the day we have pretty open talk about any projects, but we'll try and keep this to Pulsechain on this particular one. All right, so pretty awesome stuff. Let's go back to the address and just see how this is going. We're going to refresh this, 126 million. And so, well, we're down to 121, but this is because the price has changed probably on Hex. So that one there, yeah, the price, because of the Hex, the price is just moving around a bit. That's just changing around as well. I don't think they've actually taken anything out of that one. Let's go check on this. Now, there's other tokens, right? So let's go back and check the actual system there. So on the Pulsechain, you can on the Pulsechain you can check the connect the wallet, and you can actually see the select network. So you can actually select that as well, and you can actually see what tokens are sacrificable. But here's actually the actual website. This has actually been updated, so I might just quickly read through this. And this goes back to a question we had earlier. Hash says, which one is better, Axion or Hex? Well, I think Hex is going to probably be the #1 crypto in the world. So I think you can make the decision for yourself. I don't know. I think later on there'll be quite a bit of funding going back into Axion, but that's true for a lot of different projects. We'll get a lot of money into that for sure. And Alex K says, depends if you like Wrap Bitcoin divs and community governance or pure price performance managed by Richard Hart. Yeah, I agree with that, Alex. That's a really good comment on that one. So a bit of food for thought. I do know that quite a few funds are going to be flying into Axion after the Pulse launch. So we'll watch that for something later. So just maybe keep Axion on your radar. And also, like Alex said, if you want some Wrap Bitcoin dividends 4 times a week, then check out Axion. But once again, we're going to try and keep this to Pulsechain as much as we can because there's so much to talk about in this space right now. All right, let's quickly go back here. And what was I going to do? I was going to check something. We're going to go back down to the chains here. Let me just scroll back down to the Twitter. So yeah, once again, make sure you use all official links. It really is important. I've left them in the video description, but always double check, right? So I'm doing my best to give you the stuff, but always double check. Yeah, it's important to do that. If you're sacrificing, you're always going to make sure you got the official stuff, which is, pulsechain.com. And then you open up the DApp and you'll get this DApp, which is pulse.info, pulse.info is the one. But all you have to do is click the open DApp and that will open that up. Connect your MetaMask wallet, and then you can do the sacrifice just by finding the address to the blockchain that you want, and then sending the funds to that address, and then it will record your address that you've used. So that's how that works. All right, quickly, I think we're going down. Yeah, we're going to check this out a bit more. I was just going to go back and check the list. I think there was a list down here. There we go. Alex says I should have had this bookmark, but I wasn't intending on doing this particular check up here. There's a good tweet on it, so I thought I'd use that one. They're going to actually, I think they're going to be adding 1 or 2 new tokens to the sacrifice list as well. So they're going to be adding that on. Not sure this is the old one that we had. Let me just jump back to the Pulsechain topic here. I might come back to that one. So congratulations, Pulsechain is sacrificed earlier, and larger sacrifices get more points. I think we're going to go back to some of the comment that we had. What hash is Wise is disaster? Yeah, we're not talking about Wise or Axiom particularly in this live stream. We're talking about Pulsechain. So let's just keep it on topic. We much appreciate that. Thanks. All right, just going back to comment that was made. Let's go back up here. Trying to find that comment that was in the chat. Actually, I might just go through the list here. We'll go. Hopefully, we'll cover the question in here. So donation sent to the address. Let's jump past there. We're going to jump. You can either send to Sense Foundation and get the little tax discount. And let's just go back here. The PLS supply increases with the amount sacrificed. The sacrifice set can mint 1 free. I think this was the question that was asked. Sacrifice can mint 1 free pulse per sacrifice point. So that's how much pulse can get minted per sacrifice point. So you're going to get 1 for 1 for the points that you get by entering the sacrifice. Ethereum holders will also get 1 free pulse per ETH. So if you're holding ETH on the snapshot, you'll get 1 pulse per ETH as well. But obviously, most of the pulse is going to be in the sacrifice phase. So if you really after pulse, or you want to become a pulse whale, as it were, or a big pulse holder, then you need to enter the sacrifice, which is optional. You don't need to enter the sacrifice. You can just hold your tokens on Ethereum, and they'll all get copied over, and you'll get a free copy on the Pulse chain. Pulse versions like Pulse ETH or PETH. And P-Uni, that sort of things, and those will start at 0 price, and then when it launches, they will get priced up, and we'll find out how much they're worth compared to the ETH version. And like I say, some will be worth less, some might get to parity. That means it's the same price. Some might get even more expensive than Ethereum. So we're going to find that out. That might take a little while. We just don't know how fast that's going to happen. Will it take months? Will it take a couple of days for some tokens? We just don't know. We're going to find out. It's the gold rush, the Wild West. But remember, the underlying chain of Pulsechain is going to be a superior operating chain than Ethereum. And so that's going to be looking pretty good. All right. And its value is deducted from the address after 30 days. So if you don't use the free Pulse airdrop that you get, or the freemium Pulse as they call it on the Pulse chain, then you will lose it if you don't use it in 30 days. It means like transferring it from one place to another or something like that. So and its value is deducted from their address after 30 days. A Genesis address, so this is different. So there's going to be a global Genesis address. They'll get 1% of the Pulse supply at launch. It will not benefit you the coins in any way it wishes. That's going to be quite interesting to see what happens with that for sure. And I guess we can all speculate. So we've got a question here from Hash again. Don't you think the jump up past 25 cents for Hex will some serious economic power waiting for the price to sacrifice? Don't you think the price will jump past 25 cents for Hex? Will some serious Yeah, I do. That's why I do. I think it's going to be pretty huge. If I'm interpreting your question, Ash, it's definitely going to be quite high. And that would make any sacrifice at the point on an average half-hour period quite high in US dollars, right? So some people are not going in earlier because they're speculating that the price will rise. So it is a speculative play to sacrifice that time. Player 500, I forgot, what is Pulse going to be utilized for? So it's going to be utilized for the gas fee on the chain, and let's quickly go down to that. I think we've got the actual list here. So you can see Pulse has 0% inflation. Validators only earn fees, and 25% of the fees are burnt to reduce the circulating supply. So there's no inflation in Pulse. The sacrifice is basically issuing most of the Pulse. Remember, if it's the total amount sacrifices issues points that are relatively less than the ETH value, then it will scale up to 10,000x of the Ethereum supply. So I estimate that's about 1.1 trillion Pulse, and so the inflation is going to be all up front, like Hex was with the 350-day transform phase, and then it's going to, or EOS as well. And so the sacrifice is going to have all the inflation up front. There's going to be zero inflation from year to year, but there's only going to be fees for the validators as people, the big holders of Pulse that have got the software, computer power to sacrifice with the staking, software, to when they're staking their Pulse, and people can join and stake with them for a share of the rewards. And 25% of the fees are burnt to reduce the circulating supply. So even though we've got this massive inflation up front, it's actually going to there's no all the coins. So let's say we have 1.1 trillion coins. There's going to be no inflation on that amount, so it's not going to get bigger. It's not going to become 2 trillion. It's actually over time it's going to be becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, because as people transact on the chain, there's going to be some of those fees are going to be burnt, so it's going to slowly become smaller and smaller. Some people will probably even lose the coins and do something silly with them, lose coins or whatever, forget about them. Things happen to people, so there's going to be actually less effective pulse in supply. So it's a really quite interesting gamification there. So it's actually structurally implies more value on that as well. Pulsechain native tokens, PLS, can be staked and delegated to validators that reward the delegators with the largest percentage of fees. All right, so hopefully that helps you there on that one. 500, it's a good question. Alex K says, yes, that's why I think the smart strategy is to average in instead of sacrificing all at once. So far, I am only 20% in. Yeah, so that's another thing. So if you're looking at sacrificing, you can speculate on the price. So if you're doing Hex, for example, you speculate that the price of Hex will keep going up as people buy more and sacrifice more. Less is on the market. That's kind of the play. And you presume that a lot of the stakers that with stakes coming out at the moment will keep probably restake or sacrifice some of those stakes. So that's sort of some of the play that's going on from the supply side and demand side. So expecting the price to keep going up on average. Obviously, there'll be pullbacks at different times. We can see the price at the moment is currently about 17.3, just fighting to go up there at the moment, but people are possibly expecting to go much higher as the case. I think it's going to try and detect that 20 cents in any case. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously not investment advice. None of this is investment advice, just my opinions on here. You got to do your own due diligence. Pulse is a smart move by Richard with all the ETH issues. Says for property view. Yeah, I agree. And I think the timing's pretty good. So cool. Alex K, yes, and it's also putting a lot of spotlight on Hex. All the people who join Sacrifice Fun are observing Hex buying power overtaking everything else. That's absolutely true, Alex. Good comment there. And what else we got from Alex K? It must be depressing if you plan to sacrifice BTC or ETH from that perspective. That's true, because that's actually going down in price at the moment. Let's go quickly check that out. We've got that at the moment. I think that's still red. Yeah, so still red. Ethereum's just down slightly from yesterday, about 25 bucks, 30 bucks, but it says 3.5% over the last day. And you've got Bitcoin down 31. It's down 3% to 31,840. But of course, you've got Hex climbing. And man, we could see something unusual happen in the next couple of days if Hex keeps going up to where we think it's going to go. Like if it goes up to 35 cents, for example, that would get it not far away from Ethereum. That's going to cause some ripples for sure, and no pun intended on the ripple part here, because we already passed Ripple. That was back down here, number 7, 27 billion market cap. We're already almost 4 times the market cap on Hex there, so that's pretty hilarious. And Hash says, just wondering that if no projects adopted Pulsechain, then at worst it will be a separate chain for PHEX and zero fees, and could rocket PHEX to so far great heights past BTC and ETH. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. But I think that there will be a lot of, I agree with that just by itself, but I think that there will be a lot of projects going on to Pulse. I think it's going to have clean code. Whereas Ethereum, they've got a relatively smaller team than I thought they had, and they're having a few issues there. It's going to take longer as well, and yeah, so I think it's just going to be clean code on Pulsechain, and I think a lot of projects will want to go on there with super cheap fees for faster and etc. Not only that, but just the branding. Richard gets a lot of flack from certain parts of the market, particularly Bitcoin maximalists. But I think, and some of them don't even know the project. They don't even understand. I was watching him on, was it Roman the other day, and he's clueless. The old CNBC guy's running his own crypto thing. He's clueless. He just doesn't. Rich is trying to explain to him how you actually get pumpamentals working by creating superior product, and he just didn't understand. He was just going on about trying to get to the scam questions about sacrifice and the transform raise, and it's like you're missing the whole point. That the game's already gone. That's the train's the train's bolted or whatever, or the horse is bolted, I should say. The horse is already bolted. The train's already left the station. That's the right analogies or whatever. So yeah, sure. Hey, Player 500 says, thank you for your good explanation. Hey, you're welcome, Player 500. Always good to see you in the chat too, by the way. Hash says, cheers, Alex. Yeah, Alex is awesome. Thanks, Alex, for that. Awesome. So that's probably, let's go back and check out the amounts. Which one are we on here? I think we're on the, am I on the right one? No, wrong one, I think. We'll check out of that. We're going to go back here. This is the Hex. We had 588 just before, 101. Let's just refresh this, see how much Hex has been sacrificed. 590, so we're up slightly, and 102. So pretty cool on that. Let's just go back to the totals. You can actually see the stuff coming in real time. This is real-time sacrifices, 4,000, 6,500, 2,888. These are different wallets, different people sacrificing in real time. And this is all in the last minute. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them sacrificing. And yeah, 50,000 there, 1.78 million. That's a lot of money now at that value. Let's just quickly, well, we won't check on the individuals, but that's a lot of money. And then you get small people sacrificing small amounts of Hex, 50 Hex, 807. You're always going to get, people from different backgrounds, different countries, different welfare, and that some of them find out about Pulsechain and they know what happened to Hex, so they want to get in. And so you get even the small players, people just maybe they're going to got a little bit of funds, but they want to get in there, and wish them well on getting those big X's so that they can actually change their position in life. Maybe that helps them a lot. So you got all these different types. You got obviously 230,000 there, stuff like that. So I think I counted on the early first hours. I think I counted some that had I was seeing some quite large ones in there with some of the sacrifices. Like if we go back to this 18 hours ago, we had these 8,000. This is, I think, some of the first ones. So 18 hours ago, just having a look through here, I thought we had some big numbers here. So you had 124,000 sacrifice, 267. This was 18 hours and 46 minutes ago. Yeah, so we're actually getting a bit further. Look, this one here looks like sacrifice 33 million. So huge sacrifice. Let's quickly go into that. That was early on. That's 5.8 million was sacrificed on that amount. Isn't that huge? So you got some big accounts selling, but these are probably OGs. Some of these are OGs, Hex OGs, selling down. So that was over at the beginning. You can see some pretty big amounts going in there too. And now obviously we're up to 590. It's going to be interesting when we hit 1 billion Hex. We'll be hitting over 1 billion Hex. How many billions of Hex will we get into the sacrifice? It's going to be really fascinating, folks. Honestly, let's go and check out Hex charts, and we're going to see what the supply is at the moment. So blockchain time traveler. Hey, blockchain time traveler. Does anybody have the link to the Pulsechain GitHub or GitLab? I don't. I don't. Maybe try Discord, Telegram Discord for that. It might be one thing to try to see all the development work being done on it and who the developers are involved in. Hey, I might actually pull it up for another live stream, maybe tomorrow or something. Blockchain time traveler, but yeah, I don't have that off the hand. But good question. I think there's a few, maybe 1 or 2 tweets about that from Richard. But yeah. All right, so let's have a look here. We've got the circulating supply of Hex is 572.5 billion Hex is the liquid supply, but we know that the majority of that, probably 90% or so, is held by the Origin wallet on the Hex there. And so we've got the staked is at the Origin wallet, and also the stuff that's in liquid wallets and people's wallets, the Origin wallet, the people's wallets, and the Uniswap contracts, those sort of things. That's where the liquid supply is, and obviously that helps give it a big market cap as well. But then we've got the staked amount is at 61 billion Hex, and that's now 9.62% staked. And we actually see the sacrificed amount here. It says 0.093% at the moment. So that's pretty interesting. I think we'll click on that. But that's the sacrifice percentage. Actually, I forgot that was actually there. That's hilarious. Alex will probably laugh at me, but I forgot that the sacrifice part was actually on this chart. But there we are, folks. That's pretty cool metric. It says 0.093% sacrifice. It's going to be interesting to watch that total as well, because as I said, it's probably on the hex side, it's probably going to decrease the amount of hex available in the market even further from that, say 5%. So that 5% is based on some analysis that was done by pretty well-known Hexicans YouTuber, and so that's where we get that number from as well. All right, so let's quickly go. We've got Max Troyer in the house. Glad to catch you streaming again. Hey, Max, it's always a pleasure. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I love this. It's so much fun, eh? I think this is the frontier. This is what the golden standard is in crypto now, is stuff like Pulsechain. So I think that's pretty awesome, and that's what I'm focusing on this channel. Obviously, Axiom certificate deposit with Wrap Bitcoin as the flagship stuff, but also DeFi, quality DeFi, gold standard DeFi. Now, if we take out, maybe we've got 10,000 projects out there in crypto, we know that probably less than 0.5% of those projects are good. They actually have value. They actually have good DeFi, decentralized finance value, and those are the ones that you want to chase down. You want to get rid of all the rest of them, because when the bear market comes, the rest of them really get wiped out. So you've actually got to find those special ones. So on this channel, we're going to try and do that as much as possible. I'm going to be covering a lot of DeFi stuff that I think is actually of good value and with good APY returns. So we're going to watch that too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys subscribe, like, share, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to help me on that journey, hit that join button and become a member. Really appreciate that. I only launched membership about 4 days ago, and it's been going pretty nicely. But it's would be really good to get more support, and onwards I would be able to do more content and some more direct advertising as well for the channel. So it'd be pretty cool. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We've obviously got Alex on the channel too. Alex is our head moderator and is super knowledgeable in crypto. So he also does some pretty good answers on questions there as well. If you want to ask some questions in the chat, we do like a lively chat. Get in there. Obviously, the special topic of this particular video is Pulsechain sacrifice. We always try to keep it within that sort of circle. So pretty cool. And I've been pretty impressed by some of the questions in the chat. It's been really good. So cool. Anyway, all right, let's jump over. So that's where we're at the moment. Let's go back to the sacrifice. We're going to do some refreshing. I'm going to go back into, hopefully get back to the original contract. So there we are. So right, so we've got 1,290 ETH been sacrificed so far, $2.5 million US. You can see ETH price is 1,922 here, and we've got 121 million. 121.6 million so far in the sacrifice, and what, we're just about almost 19 hours into the sacrifice, only on day one of 19, day 119, and so we've got still another 5 hours to go, just over 5 hours to go for the first day sacrifice results. So pretty awesome. Hopefully Richard will be awake and be able to tweet about that at that time. I know that he's only been living on about 2 hours sleep a night from the looks of it leading up to this. Obviously a lot is involved in organizing and leading, a Pulsechain sacrifice and the mainnet launch, the testing. He's got an awesome hot property group of developers. They even helped the ETH chain improve the ETH chain. They actually did a submit on GitHub or whatever. I think that all got pushed through, and it's now part of the chain there. So even helping bugs on the Ethereum chain while they're making Pulsechain, pretty cool. Obviously, the Pulsechain is going to be a system state copy of the Ethereum chain, so it's pretty big there. So we've got 588 there in Hex, and has that gone down slightly? I'm not sure how that works, but we've got the USD coin 8.8 million, heading up towards 10 million on the USDC. We've got DAI there 7.5, and a Tether 2.5 million, Chainlink at 730, and Wrap Bitcoin at 237. And Uniswap at 77. Yeah, Uniswap's probably the biggest surprise for me so far. I thought that would be bigger. It may get bigger later on. We'll just watch that as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. Alex says, I'm hoping to see the scoreboard for Pulse Sacrifice soon. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I know. Have you heard much about that, Alex? Let me know if you've got some particular link for that. I was watching Richard yesterday's video, and yeah, I'm not sure whether they were coming up with something like that, but that looks that would be really cool if they do. All right, so hopefully it's going to be on this page too. All right, so let's go back up to the top here. Just wanted to make sure that people had points. So so people are going to sacrifice US dollar value either as stable coins or they're going to do as coins or tokens that are on the acceptable list, either on Ethereum or not on Ethereum. And those get points, and there's two type of points. So they either get the base points. So the first 5 days, if you sacrifice $1, you'll get 10,000 points for that. So it's the rate per 10,000 points. You'll get that on day 2. So if you sacrifice $1 on day 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll get 10,000 points for it. But as the price goes, then it goes up by, I think it was 5%. So then it goes up by 5% per day, and it slowly rises. By the time you get to the end of day 19, you can see day 19, that's how long the sacrifice phase is for. Then you will end up getting, it will cost not quite $2, but just get close to $2. It'll be almost twice as more expensive. So for $1 in the future, you'll only get 5,000 sacrifice points rather than 10,000. Or the other way of looking at it is that if you had $2, you could still buy 10,000 points. So it's really obviously better from a time basis for just about most people to get in early if you're bigger or smaller. But of course, if you are speculating on, if you're not using a stable coin, you're trying to get a high US dollar amount, then you may speculate on the prices of non-stable coins, and hopefully they'll go up. And that's what we've seen so far with Hex. On the first day, people were sacrificing the first couple hours. Sorry, we are on the first day, but the first couple hours people were sacrificing, and some of the people at the beginning got around about 14 and a half, maybe up to 15 cents. Some of the average, it's half an hour average, so somewhere like that. But now people sacrificing, getting even higher US dollar value, so it's actually played out for them. But they take on risk by doing that, because what happens if the price of Hex went down, for example, if they're using Hex? The same's true if they were using other tokens like Unicoin or other stuff like that. So that's really important to know. And I do know some people are averaging in over the period. So they're going to go, okay, I don't know what the price is going to be. I'm going to sacrifice, say Hex, for the example, and they'll sacrifice on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like that's what Alex is doing. And I know a number of other people that are doing that too. So cool. Alex Casey, there's no link yet, but they mentioned it in a previous stream. Cool. Thanks, Alex. Black Knight. I love that name. Bro, if I haven't bought all the Hex, I wanted to because of exchange problems. Will I still benefit from fork if I buy today or tomorrow? Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you're not looking at sacrificing, you just want to buy the Hex and get a copy of your Hex on Pulse Hex, on Pulsechain when it becomes Pulse Hex, then yeah, any time be fine. Alex Case says, I guess he couldn't wait longer for All Nice to have items before launch. Yeah, he said that, and he said he didn't have this. He said yesterday's stream he didn't have enough devs to do that sort of stuff, and maybe somebody in the community might do it. So I think that's where I saw him end up. Alex K says, Black Knight snapshot for the fork is still a few weeks away. You should be fine. Yeah, so that's correct. So the snapshot is a few weeks ago. Blockchain time traveler. Pulsechain mentions it will have a max supply of 10,000. That the ETH 10,000 of ETH max supply at time of launch. 10,000 times 16 is 1.1 trillion. Roughly, it will go up as ETH supply increases towards launch. Yeah, that's correct. Blockchain. Spot on with that. So I've actually got that in a previous video. We went through those numbers too. Alex K. Yes, that's the minimum amount of pulse. There could be more if as people sacrifice more funds. Yeah, that's right. So Alex is spot on that one. And I mention this because it's around the total supply of Shiba of 1 trillion. You sacrifice $1 and get 10,000 pulse, and that pulse trades at the same price of Shiba. Then that's 0.6877 cents. Yeah, that's right. So nice one there, blockchain time traveler. Very cool. Don't you love the community? It's good to get good stuff like that. All right, so yeah, so that's what here, I guess, related to this point here. If the total supply isn't 10,000x higher than ETH, then isn't 10,000x higher than ETH, then everyone will get upscaled. The bonus become pro rata to bring the total supply 10,000x to total supply. So that's actually slightly different to what I think you've said there. Mentions it will have a max supply of 10,000 ETH to launch 10,000 ETH. Yeah, so that's right. If it goes up as ETH supply increase, it will go up as ETH supply increases towards launch. Yes, that's correct. So no, that is correct. So very cool. So the hope would be that Pulse trades at 14.55 times that of Shiba right now to break even. Right. Okay. Cool. All right, so the US dollar value of sacrifice are estimated using 30-minute time weighted average price. That's why we said some people are sacrificing in an average way. So they might be just doing 20%. Maybe they're going to sacrifice 10,000 hex. They'll sacrifice 2,000 hex on day one, maybe day two, 2,000 hex, and just trying to get an average price, maybe a higher price on average. And that's the play that some people are doing. I actually know quite a few people doing that. Don't forget, some people you may not even be sacrificing. Maybe they buy, I know 10,000 hex and they only sacrifice 7,000 in the sacrifice altogether. And maybe they average that over a few days. And then other people, and then they might be holding, say, 33,000 hex on the side, so they get a copy over when the Pulse chain, when the ETH forks into the Pulse chain, and they get a copy of Pulse hex on the other side. So people might be doing that, and that way they can buy and sell some of the tokens which start at 0. So there's a lot of gamification going on. So people are doing different things around that as well. So something for you to consider. So yeah, so that's the main profile, and obviously there's a volume on top of this. So this is the get in earlier. Earlier is better. So you can see earlier is better there clearly. But there's also a volume bonus. So the bigger that you get in, you get more. You get a multiplier on top of this value here. So don't forget that. And there's a nice little story here about that. But basically, there's in math speak, it's basically a linear bonding curve between 1x and 2.5x. So obviously, everybody's sacrifice in USDC, US dollar terms, will get ranked over the whole life of this 19 days. It will all get ranked, boom, 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 boom. And they'll get ranked in that multiplier between 2.5 and 1. So that's how it's going to be. So obviously, the bigger, the better over that time. So that's going to be interesting play there. And so that's why some people also, doing average over the price, particularly for Hex, because the Hex is easy to move the price given the liquidity. Then they'll get a bigger US dollar snapshot, and that will give them a better multiplier. They'll be on the higher end of that. So they might be closer to 2.5 than they are to 1 in the multiplier. So that multiplies all the points that they've earned by sacrificing per dollar here. So that's how that rolls. So I think that was answering the question. Day 17, 18, 19 have the worst rates and get a flat bonus of 1.75. So just take that into account. Yeah, so that's how days 1 to 16 will work. All right. And here's the Pulse chain goals, of course. It's what's the underlying value of Pulse chain? Why would you go and sacrifice? Well, obviously, some people are sacrificing. The Pulse price is going to start at 0 when mainnet launches in, I don't know, a couple, weeks time, months time, whatever it is. And then people are going to price that up, and all other Pulse equivalents of ERC20s on the Pulse chain all get priced up from 0, and we just don't know what each of them will be. Some of them will, like I say, be lower than ETH chain. Some of them might get to parity. Some of them might get above ETH over time. It may not happen day 1 at all, but over time. But of course, Pulse, the coin itself, is going to be the most interesting one, as well as probably Hex and a few other tokens, maybe uni tokens, stuff like that. Will be interesting to see how that plays out. But once again, Richard Hart doesn't even know. It's going to be interesting to see that. Obviously, a lot of the economic energy is going to flow through the Pulse pair, and so it's particularly Pulse ETH pair. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that plays out, and that will also feed back through into all the other Pulse tokens that are on the Pulse chain, all those copies. So it's going to be interesting how that plays. Obviously, there's going to be, we'll get into this in a second, but there's going to be a bridging as well. So you can see there's ETH on Pulse chain and Pulse on Ethereum chain. So there's going to be that bridging between the two. And there's also a trading. There's going to be Uniswap version on Pulse chain, just like there is a Uniswap on Ethereum chain. And so people can price up and down, trade each pair. So the Pulse chain pairs. I think it's going to be pretty wild. I think it's pretty crazy. So there we are. All right, so and here's obviously some of the super stuff, some of the value actually under the Pulse chain is that Ethereum fees will be lowered by sharing its load. So Pulse chain is going to be a layer 1, which means you're going to own all your coins on that chain, not a layer 2 like Matic, where you actually swap your coins for layer 2 coins. You don't own the coins anymore, and that Matic basically owns them. And so that's obviously a risk that you have to decide whether you're going to take or not, despite how good you think Matic is and how the uptake of Matic is. So you've got to take into account. The Pulsechain is going to re-enable pricing out use cases instead of launching empty. Pulsechain brings the Ethereum state in ERC20s. This rewards holders and founders of Ethereum-based projects. So there's been copies of the ETH chain before, but not all the system state with all the coins. So this is a first. It's going to be a really amazing time. Biggest airdrop in history, they say. Big gold rush, they say, as you're trying to find out what the price of that big airdrop. And obviously the Wild West, because you just don't know what's going to happen. That's sort of the way I describe it. So enrich ERC20 and NFT users. The launch of Pulsechain is the largest airdrop in history. Thousands of Ethereum-based tokens and NFTs received their free Pulsechain versions. The new gold rush. That's just what I said, basically. The new gold rush contains the value to discovery of thousands of tokens NFTs on Pulsechain. So we haven't talked a lot about NFTs, but they're obviously on there too. And if you always wanted to be a whale in a certain ERC20 or NFT, maybe you can now be. That's what I mean. So people might, like I say, might target the, you might get a lot of big price value movement and like Uniswap coin and stuff like that on the Pulsechain. So these are the bigger value ones. And then that's you're going to see a lot of that stuff. So a lot of the top 20 sort of ERC20s, maybe a lot top 50, top 100. You might get a lot of movement, a lot of liquidity pushed on there and stuff like that. It's going to be really interesting to see. And of course, the main thing, of course, for the chain itself, lower Pulsechain fees and serve more users. Pulsechain increases the throughput of Ethereum 4x by 3-second blocks, and Ethereum is around 13-second blocks. And of course, Ethereum is trying to move itself from a proof of work, which uses a lot of energy with computers validating all the blocks and the transactions, to proof of work, which sort of they did start moving to a hybrid in December 2020 with staking, and we've seen a lot more staking recently, and that as the London fork comes up, which is due this month, such as EIP 1509, to do some bit of fee burning. So already, of course, the Pulsechain is already going to have fee burning. You can see 25% of fees are burnt in circulating supply. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And obviously, by replacing proof of work miners with proof of stake validators, Pulsechain doesn't burn, waste any energy, making it environmentally friendly. So it's going to be pretty cool on that with the proof of stake advantage. And once again, this is a big deal too. Let's not take away this. PLS has 0% inflation, and there's going to be fee burning, which is going to destroy some of the supply. So all the inflation is going to be up front, and then it's just going to get less and less Pulsechain supply Pulse over time, and therefore it's going to increase the price of Pulse. But of course, we're going to have that 4 times throughput faster, so it's going to make things pretty interesting in terms of value. All right, blockchain time traveler and Shiba is one of the most popular groups on Reddit. Yeah, it's true, and Reddit's like number 2 in crypto, so it's a pretty big deal. Twitter's obviously big in crypto audiences, but Reddit's kind of number 2. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big deal. Pulse is obviously going to be a big one. Don't know if there's I actually haven't seen this. The official Pulsechain / Pulse on Reddit. Let me know, blockchain time traveler. And my point is compare it to Shiba because they have around the same max supply. You will have to trade it for 14.55 times Shiba to break even for every dollar invested if you only get 10,000. Yeah, I agree with that. That seems like a good analogy. Obviously, Shiba is a meme coin, so the underlying value, but I get the maths is similar. So yeah, cool. You get 10,000 for $1 sacrifice according to Pulsechain. 1 divided by 10,000 is 0001 to break even. So 0001 Shiba price of was it Quint 0 6871 equals 14.55 that to break even. Shiba has around the same max supply. Yeah, happy with all that maths. Seems good to me. All right, nice one. So yeah, the price is going to have to go up at least by that much. But you're starting from that infinitesimal price to get it ranked up to get to break even. But I'm not sure if a lot of people are worried about that at this stage, but that's the sound maths on that one. All right, let's jump back over. So we've gone through this. If you want to actually enter the sacrifice, up to you. Of course, the optional part, you do get the free airdrop in Pulsechain just by doing absolutely nothing. If you've got tokens and stuff on the Ethereum, you'll just get them copied over. You'll just have to wait and see how the market prices them up. But it's going to be a free big airdrop from that point of view. If you want to enter, if you want to try and chase down all that Pulsechain, get a big bag in Pulsechain, then you need to really enter the sacrifice phase. And so that's what this is all about. And it's what started. We're still in day 1. I think we're about 19, 20 hours in, and still got about 4 hours of day 1 of 19 days. 19 days. So it's a long way to go. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to cover it pretty much every day on this channel. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. So you can actually open up the sacrifice page to there, open this, connect your wallet, select your network and the tokens that you want to sacrifice, and you can decide in USDC perhaps. It may be a simple way of deciding I want to sacrifice 2,000, so you just go do that. But remember, you're sacrificing, you're not getting the 2,000 back. And as blockchain time channel points out, there's going to be price discovery, and you're going to need a certain recovery price to get back your original amount sacrificed over time. So that's the way it's going to roll. All right, so very cool. Let's go quickly check the amounts again and back up here. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit that bell, of course. And if you want to help support this channel growing going forward, talking about all the golden standard DeFi, including Pulsechain, then get in here and hit the join button. And get into one of those memberships. It's got 4 memberships: Axionites, Elites, Heroes, and Krakens. So they're pretty cool names as well, and lots of badges and stuff. You get special treatment in the chat as well as some other perks. So check that out. All funds, of course, go back to making more content and getting some advertising up and running for the channel as well. So check that out too. All right, so there we are, folks. We've got 1,353 Ethereum in there, 2.6 million US dollars now of Ethereum. Ethereum is currently at 1,919. It's about tongue twisted myself with that one, and that's actually a bit softer than it was yesterday. Yesterday was about 1,950 bucks, something like that. So that's down just a little bit again. And obviously, some people, if they're going to sacrifice that, then if that keeps declining, they're going to have a lower USDC and therefore lower points, lower pulse claim on that one. So just take that into account. And then we're currently at 120. Oh, I'm going to refresh it again because it goes up so fast. I'm going to refresh it again. So we're currently at 123.5 million in this ETH pool. This doesn't include non-Ethereum sacrifice, so Bitcoin and stuff like that. So it's not including that. So yeah, 123. So we've got we're almost up to 600 million hex has been sacrificed. Unbelievable. And this is, we're only like day one, 20 hours. I know a lot of people haven't even sacrificed yet. And a lot of people are sacrificing in percentages as well, just like Alex said he was earlier. So it's a long way to go, folks, a long way to go. And so we've got 594 million hex sacrifice, 103 million US dollars, and that's just going to climb. Someone did say earlier that the 10 million had been moved out. I haven't seen that. I will try and check that out and see that a bit later. It's a bit hard to do that on live stream, to go around check stuff like that. So USDC 9 million has been sacrificed, almost getting up to 10 million US dollars. Unbelievable. 7.6 million is in the DAI stable, and 2.5 million is in Tether USDT. And that's the other side of it. When these stable coins launch from Pulsechain, they won't necessarily be backed one-to-one by real US dollars. So that's going to be based on perceived value in that case, and obviously parity to how that's valued on other chains. So it's going to be interesting to see what those are actually worth. Do they get to a one-to-one because people perceive that way? We have seen that on fractionalized stable coins on other chains where they actually didn't have 100% backed $1 to $1. So we'll see how that goes. The other side of it is the custodials that run those tokens, like USDC. It's going to be interesting to see how they roll and see whether they support the token on the Pulse chain. But it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of excitement around Pulse chain. So we'll just try and keep tabs on that side of it. That's a very important part, because obviously stable coins give you that hedge and risk management aspect as well, and also the fiat gateway. So we'll watch that with keen eyes, as it were. Chainlink 20 wrap Bitcoin 236,000, Uni at 76, and Ren BTC is at 27. It's even got Decentraland at 9.6, wrapped ETH, and Shiba is in there as well, and Aave at 7,500, and got a few smaller ones here, Inch Token as well, stuff like that. So I'm not even sure if all those on the list, somehow they're in there, but that's the way we roll. All right, Hamza, sorry, is Hamza's in chat. Math is wrong. You need to multiply by circulating supply, not total supply. And blockchain says, according to Pulsechain, all will be circulating because it's proof of stake. All will be existence in wallets. And Alex K says, time travel, most will be staked for validators, kind of like with Cardano. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a really good point. Nice conversation going there, by the way, everybody. But yeah, I definitely think that's going to be sacrificed quite a, a lot of it's got a lot of Pulse will get staked and earn those sweet divs. Because when you got a lot of Pulse, man, why sell it if you're going to earn a good return on it? And the price the less that's on the market, the price just goes up. And Rich has also got a few other tricks up his sleeve. He said he's got a few other tricks up his sleeve. He also said that there's some secret sauce as well involved. So he hasn't shown all his cards, and he never does. And so you see the cards get played at different times, and that's part of the genius, right? Part of the magic, and that's why he's talking about. Imagine seeing Pulse, eHex, and pHex as number 1, 2, and 3 in the market in crypto. So it's going to be, you can see my smile. I'm pretty think it's going to be pretty fun. And Jim Bob says my brain hurts. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't hurt. Take some aspirin or take some Pulse, either one. And otherwise, if pain persists, see hexologist, the doctor. He might help you there. Blockchain time traveler, Alex K. That's a good point. What percentage will be staked? Up to 100%. Or up to 100%, I suppose. Depends on how many people want passive income. Yeah. Well, let's say for argument's sake, let's say we get 60%, 70% staked. You might get 60%, 70%. It depends on how things play out. There's also rumored about airdrops as well. We'll see whether this extra perks are coming along the line as well. So that's not a promise, of course, but it's kind of out there. Up to 100%, yeah. So I plan to stake most of mine. Yeah, I think that we might get you might get some pretty high staking percentages. Remember, this is not exactly like Hex. Hex has got like where the Orange wallet controls most of the liquid supply, and then basically it's like it's being staked. And then obviously, because the official amount's only 9.7, we can see that here. I'm going to refresh this page actually. I know it auto refreshes pretty well this page, but I'm going to do that anyway. So it's still got 9.4 there. I'm not sure how accurate this number is. I'm presuming it's accurate because the rest of the stuff's pretty good on this channel, on this thing here. You can see, look at the T-share now for a Hex T-share is $3,100. It only flipped yesterday, I think it was. It flipped the price of Ethereum at 2,000, $2,000 or $1,919 now, and now it's 3,000 for T-share. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And now the people is talking about will a T-share, that's 1 trillion shares, if you don't know what I mean. That's when people stake their Hex, they get shares. And now that's this is just mind blowing. That used to be, the low price of this was 60 cents, and now it's $3,100 for a T-share. So it used to be 60 cents in January last year, now 3,100. It's mind blowing. Some magic happening here for sure. And you can see the price of Hex at the moment. The thing that drives this up, of course, is the share rate. Obviously, in Axiom, we also have a share rate, but it's in million shares. This one here we talk about in T shares or trillions of shares, but eventually that will be B shares, and then M shares, and then K shares. So this goes down as time goes on in this project, and I believe it will have a very long life based on the maths. It's going to be interesting. So we can actually see the share rates going up, plus the price goes up, and that means the cost per T-share goes up. Those two things. And the share rate goes up all the time. It doesn't go back down. You can see it just goes up, 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 up. This big jump here is the big payday last year on the 19th of November, and you can see that there. And this is how it rolls. And it has these little jumps, and this is small too, because eventually in the future this jumps even bigger. And I think it's maybe around the medium point, some medium point. But this is just small, so this is going to be super hard. That's represent you need 18,233 hex per T-share. That's 18,233 hex per T-share, and you have to get T-share to get that 18,230 hex. You need to buy each hex at 17 cents at the moment. So you can see why it costs you, $3,100 to buy one T-share. Mind-boggling stuff, and we should see some sort of interesting play out for that too. Let's quickly go. I think I'm miles behind here. Max draw. So if you sacrifice $1,000 worth of hex, how many tokens would you get? 10 million is the amount. Hamas says that's 1,000 times 10, 1,000. That's right. I've got 10,000 per $1 plus volume bonuses and minus bonding curve penalty if you wait too long. Yeah, that's right. So that's true. And so you will get a $1,000. You might get a time bonus, like a volume bonus of like 1.01 or 1.1 or something. It's going to be some between 1 and 2.5, but it'll be on the very low end, as I imagine, at 1,000. 1,000 is not the worst. It's not bad. 1,000 is good. I think 1,000 is good because if obviously the chain does what Hex does, then that'd be pretty amazing money. But you've on the time, but on the volume bonus, I don't know, will that be 1.1 or will it be 1.01? Or how where will it be? It'll be on the bottom end. I just don't know where that's going to end up landing. There's a lot smaller bids in there, $50 and all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Obviously, the bigger volume gets the bigger multiplier. My understanding is some of the max supply will be reserved to be released to those staking on nodes, and that's how it essentially covers POS operations, which is smart. Yeah, that's my understanding too. We'll see how that goes. I know that the top pulse holders will be the ones. There's going to be, I think it's 21 validators in that regard. But it still gets released into circulating supply eventually to compare it to Shiba supply. And Max Troller, oh nice. And Jonathan Kampala, hey Jonathan. Jonathan's I've jumped away from Jonathan. Jonathan Kapala, one of the members of this channel, helps support us. I really appreciate that. It's a beautiful time right now, says Jonathan. Absolutely. Black Knight. I love that name, Black Knight. It's a good movie, that one. I think there's a movie called that somewhere. I'm just going to jump back to the sacrifice here. Sorry for accidentally just sitting on that screen. Didn't mean to do that. Was just answering those chats. So here's the sacrifice at the moment. That's how we're rolling. So looking good. What's that? The 121.8 million. Hex is just at 17 cents at the moment, and we got that's ETH value slowly climbing there, with more ETH slowly flowing in. Now, I don't have the Bitcoin numbers and stuff like that, so if you do know them in the chat, let me know. I don't have a Electrum wallet set up for that, but I'll try and look at some of those things. I know that it was about $4 or $5 million a few hours ago, but they may have increased dramatically. I'm expecting Bitcoin to rise a bit more as we go, and some of the other tokens that are non-Ethereum ones too. But this really is the heart of it. I think the Ethereum sacrifice is going to be the main player for sure. Alex says, hi, Jonathan Kampala. And Alex, thank you, Black Knight. Jonathan Kampala, hey, yeah, what's up, Alex? Enjoying the process and watching history, brother. Watching history, I love that. It's love the camaraderie on this channel. It's so good, and really is a great place to be. Alex K, Kampala, history in the making. Indeed, glad to be part of it, despite all the doubters and gatekeepers. Yeah, that's so true. That's the thing. There's a storm coming or something, and the rest of the the establishment, can you believe it, in blockchain, the establishment, the Bitcoin maximalists and all the others, the Ethereum holders, and all the big billionaires and all those big crypto influencers that we all know, Max Kaiser and all the others, Mr. Bitcoin, you name it, they're all out there. But man, Richard Hart really is just completely changing the game, and he must be laughing his head off the fact that he is doing such a thing. So it's pretty hilarious stuff. Hey, Cosmos Gemini, another awesome member of this channel. Great to see you in the chat. Walking around work with my phone in my pocket, getting lots of looks because all they hear is Superman commentary. I love it. Yoo-hoo! Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's Superman. Yeah, I love it. So Superman's my moniker online. So if you wanted to know what my moniker was, it's Superman. I also do blogging on blogs as well. So you might see me around on like Publish OX and stuff like that. I got blogs doing that. Andrew F says, does every wallet get Pulse, or is it just the ones who sacrifice? So the majority of Pulse is going for the ones that sacrifice, but if you've got ETH in your wallet, you'll get a freemium airdrop. And blockchain time traveler, the most important thing to know is to find the GitHub or GitLab info for Pulsechain and possibly Hex, analyze those to understand what the potential is. And it shows that work is being done, whatever developers involved, and how long they have been working on it and when. I agree that to a point. Really, it's the actual underlying anything in crypto is how much scarcity and perceived and I guess three things: it's getting scarcity of the token, and secondly, getting perceived utility and actual utility, and then a third is actually having getting the investors to be greater than supply greater than demand. That's it. And I think that's actually more important than what's happening on GitHub. But I agree with you. It's good to know the code is clean and good, and what the actual value proposition is in there. But that's my comment on that. Alex K, Gemini, nice one. And absolutely, Alex K, if every wallet that has ETH will get premium pulse on a one-to-one, almost nothing, but enough for some transactions. Yeah. So obviously that's what's going to happen, and it's going to be super cheap. Like transactions going to be pretty much super cheap. It will take a long time before congestion comes onto the market. Now, one of the main drivers, of course, for setting up Pulsechain initially by Richard Hart was the fact that Ethereum had changed the S-load function and increased the price. Actually had done it a couple of times on staking and unstaking, and so that was going to make Hex unstaking and staking untenable, as well as other smart contracts and stuff that use loop functions and stuff. And so that was going to be extremely expensive, especially with easy congestion. And the TPS on Ethereum's like only something like 8 to 12, and max is like 25 transactions per second. So that's the real problem. And as obviously we talked about, there's not enough volume going through in the blocks and stuff. So and times. So that's one of the key drivers of why he set up Pulsechain initially. But of course, then he, obviously we can do a system state copy and we can build it out and make it a much bigger thing. So as well as helping the Hex project itself have cheap staking and unstaking fees. So he actually had to go off. So it's going to be interesting to see how Pulse Hex and EP Hex go up over time. But he wants scarcity on both chains. And he's doing that actually through the sacrifice, because a lot of the stuff Hex that gets sacrificed won't get pushed back on the market, hypothetically speaking. So that's a real interesting play there. Andrew F, so having multiple wallets with small amounts of ETH would have known to benefit. No, you're just going to get the one for one for the ETH number of ETH you hold there. As far as I think, let me just go. Andrew F, correct. It's a fiat one-to-one based on ETH in the wallet. If Sacrifice itself splitting into more wallets actually reduces your volume bonus. That's correct. And blockchain, never invest in a project until you review the GitHub. Yeah, I agree with that. So obviously there's going to be a public testnet coming out, but a lot of people won't even understand looking at the GitHub there, blockchain time travel. Most people won't even understand looking at it. But if you get some insights from that, it'd be really cool. But obviously the public testnet's coming out, and that's what people will really be looking at, and how, if that's successful. Obviously there may be no bugs, but we know in software there's always some bugs. Typically speaking, sometimes people write perfectly clean code, but if there's not, then there's a lot of bug fixing typically. It'll be a typical case. So through the PulseNet, that will be the case. So at the moment, everything's been running pretty well, apparently, behind the scenes and running that test net. But when it goes to public test net, then if there's any, people will be challenging that system and finding any issues, and if those will go back to the software writers and fix that up before they even get to the point where they go, right, we've done all the edge cases, and now we can do the actual official launch and go live. So take your point, blockchain time traveler. Justin Davis in the house. Hey, Justin, good to see you. I hope I just invested in a life changer. Yeah, we all do too. Don't forget, it is a high risk return, a speculative play. Obviously, we're backing it on a lot of different substantiators. Obviously, do with Richard Hex and other things, and obviously the underlying value of the Pulsechain proposition. So just take that into account, and obviously the big community and interested parties that are interested in that. So let me take account. Andrew F, what if I just sacrificed all my ETH? I wouldn't get any more. My bonus. Oh, you mean your freemium airdrop? So no, you're going to get way more pulse if that's the case. You're going to get way more, Andrew F. Most of the pulses in the sacrifice phase, you have to actually sacrifice to get the pulse. If you just hold your ETH, you'll get 1 pulse per ETH. But in the sacrifice, you're going to get tens of thousands of per dollar. You're going to get tens of thousands of ETH. So you're going to get heaps of pulse. So that's the main game. So hopefully that helps. Andrew F, sorry, so confused. I've watched the videos like 10 times. Yeah, hopefully that's explained. Really, the pulse chain is the big game. You're gonna get 10,000 points per pulse, and it's 1 pulse per point. So that's the way it's gonna work. Blockchain time traveler. Think about why Pulsechain needs devs. It's a hard fork. He's issuing lots of pulse coin alternatives. Then he tests to launch the mainnet. They need people to build on it. Yeah, I agree with you 100% there, blockchain. 100%. Justin Davis, a worst case scenario, I just bought an awesome dream. That's true, Justin Davis. That's the worst case. You'd put an awesome dream. Nice one. Hopefully the dream doesn't become a nightmare there, Justin Davis. That's, I guess, the other way of looking at it. Now, it is high risk, high return. Don't forget to do your own investment due diligence. Watch all the videos you can. Do your best to understand it. The actual sacrifice is fairly simple in the sense that, there's two components, main components, really. Getting in earlier is better. You're going to get more points. Remember that back here, if we come back to here, especially for Justin F there, you can basically the sacrifice, you can mint 1 free PLS per sacrifice point. So this is really for Andrew F, sorry. So you're going to, in the sacrifice, you get your set a mint. You can mint 1 free pulse per sacrifice point. And so you're going to get 10,000 sacrifice points per dollar. So you can see you're going to get a lot of pulse by sacrificing. Whereas if an ETH's worth $1,900, you're going to get you're going to get 19 million points or whatever. So you're going to get a lot of pulse as opposed to, and that doesn't include the volume bonus. So you're going to get a lot more. Whereas Ethereum holders are only going to get 1 free pulse per ETH. So it's really just a little bit of transaction money to run around. No big deal. And they're even going to lose that if they don't use the chain after 30 days. So that's making, encouraging people to be active on the chain. That's why they've got that feature in there. Plus, there's some big whales on ETH. If they got big accounts, they won't. I mean, they'll get a little bag of pulse, but really nothing to to go crazy over. The other side of course, that if the total supply isn't 10,000x higher than ETH, then everyone will get upscaled. So that's a bonus coins pro rata. So there's sort of like a little bit of upside there. All right, so GitHub is very important if you are going to try and compete against ETH with a fork of ETH and do better. Now, Richard's already said that that the ETH chain is actually struggling. They already showed, I think the head dev has got a tweet out there. Check out the tweets there, a blockchain timer. You may have seen it already, but that's saying that they're really struggling to get their workload up there. Sort of ETH 0.01, ETH 1.0 sort of works, but that's like old tech now. It's proven tech, but it's old tech, proven code, but old tech. And obviously struggling with congestion where you get Gwei. Like Gwei at the moment is 33, which shouldn't be that. Should always, really should be under 10. Obviously you get a bit of congestion on networks anyway, but it really should be way lower, right? So any points? So how many points? Nikita says how many points is a dollar? 10,000. You can see that here. So $1 on the left here, and you get 10,000 points is the rate. So you get 10,000 points per dollar. So that's something there. 10,000 per $1. Yeah, nice one. Says Nikita. Yeah, that's all good. According to the website, is a 10,000 pulse for $1, and there will be around 1 trillion pulse issued. It will be 10,000 the max supply of ETH. That's great. Well done. Awesome stuff there, Pulsechain. Sorry, blockchain time traveler. Mariko Espinoza, is it 1 hex sacrifice per 10,000 pulse or $1 per 10,000 hex pulse? It's $1 per 10,000 hex pulse. So whatever the US dollar value of your hex when you submit it on average, remember that it's based on the half an hour average price of a non-stable coin. So hex would be the average price at that time that you put it in over that half an hour. So that's how they're going to work it out. I'm not sure how they're doing that, but that's they may take it from Ether chain, or they may take it from Uniswap or something, probably Uniswap or something like that. Where possible, they say where convenient is Richard's terminology. So hopefully that helps there, Espinoza. Oh, very cool. How long have we been going? Oh, now in 30. We're doing pretty well on today's live stream. What time is it? Okay, it's almost lunchtime for me. Hey, we might go for a little bit longer. Let's go and check out. So this is the official website. You can find the official links in the description below. Always check them, of course, and make sure that they're official, but they are the ones that I've got. And so forth. So check that out. Also, when you come to pulsechain.com, you can open up the DApp, and the DApp will actually, once you connect, the DApp will actually open up the official social media sites as well. So that's Richard Hart's YouTube, Twitter. I think these are the ones from memory. Richard Hart, YouTube, Twitter, obviously, Telegram, official Pulsechain Telegram, and I'm not sure if it's got the Hex Telegram on there, but those sort of official sites. So you can check that once you log in here. You'll be able to find the official sites, and you can go and ask all the questions, double check everything on there if you wish. Obviously, when you connect, you can select the network. So if you're going to sacrifice maybe unicoins, you go and select network, and whatever the coins that are available, they'll show the list of coins. Don't sacrifice to those coins. You can view what goes in there, but don't sacrifice to them. There will be for Ethereum, there's only one address, and that address is this one here that we're looking at, which is OX9C 62CB, and you can see we can see the total value of the sacrifice at the moment live in real time. Now there obviously is people sacrificing BTC that's on a different address because it's not Ethereum. So other chains, the sacrifices are on those chains. You need at this stage you need to set up particular wallets with the access to see the amount of sacrifice, as I understand it, or know the addresses in any case. So I might try and set that up for tomorrow and pull up a few more of the other addresses that are getting sacrificed that aren't Ethereum. But this gives you the bulk of the sacrifice at the moment, and you can see it in real time, which is pretty neat. So we're currently sitting at the moment 1,380 ETH, and there's $2.6 million. We've got 116, $117 million also. This is in addition to the ETH here. So we're close to what, 120 million there. I think we're actually going even bigger. Obviously, it depends on the price of Hex in terms of the main coin that's been sacrificed. With 96.5 million, we're almost close to 600 million Hex is sacrificed. It's going to be interesting to see how many, how high this runs up to, how many billions I'm talking about. But it'll be interesting. And if USDC coins are at 9 million, and it's going up all the time, and so forth. So I think this is updated correctly. It's got 8-minute delay, so maybe it's a little bit behind there. But let's have a look at the Hex sacrifice. Very cool. This is like live, so it's a bit of fun. This is part of the fun, right? Obviously, everyone wants to get some mad gains, and get involved in the Pulsechain itself. But you know, this is part of the fun. Just the journey as well is pretty cool. I love love this part. Everyone that knows me on this channel knows that I love this sort of stuff. And Axion, we have auctions every day, and I do the show every day, and we see how much ETH goes into the auction, so that see how much rat Bitcoin people get in their dividends and stuff like that. And I always get excited at that. Everyone knows me for sure. Alex, who's our head moderator, knows that I jump up and down a lot about that, because it's just, I love the journey as well as the end game. So pretty cool. So you can see all the stuff coming in. Look at this, minute ago, sacrifice. Someone just did 1,000. Someone did 37,000 Hex, etc. So that's just on the Hex one. Let's go back out of there, and we'll check some of this other stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, share, hit the bell for further videos. We're going to be covering Pulsechain, obviously, well as Axion and DeFi projects. We're going to be doing a lot of videos on other quality, only the gold standard crypto on this channel. We'll really be trying to seek out the best ones, and we're going to be talking about those as well. Well, let's go check in some. Let's go check USDC and have a look at some of those values, see what's been recently sacrificed. So here we are. We've got $7 million US of USD. This is going to go up big time. We've got 19 days of the sacrifice, and we're only on day one. And we've still got quite a few hours to go in day one. You can see different amounts. Oh, someone did $7. Someone did $3,500. So you got lots of small amounts getting sacrificed. Interesting stuff there. Obviously, it's on the ETH chain, so they're paying gas fees for certain stuff here. I'm not sure how these little ones get in here, but they seem to be flowing in this little amount. So I'm not sure what's going to zero there. It's a little confusing. Maybe someone might know, but that's just seems to be some random stuff. We've got 3,000, 10,000. That seems more like it. Seems more like a 19, 2,000 there. So just checking through to see whether there's some really big ones. $20,000 sacrifice there. So some really nice bids, sacrifices going on. 250, that's $250,000 US sacrificed there. So that's a biggie for sure. And you got lots of different values going in there. Pretty amazing. That's all in the last hour and 50 minutes. So some interesting stuff going in there for sure. Let's go back out. Well, let's go check out. Let's go check Richard's Hard Twitter, and let's check that. Oh, I've gone too far. Let me go back. So I'm actually not logged into Twitter. I'm just keeping it. So we're going to refresh this page and see if Richard's come out with any more tweets since we last checked. We just went at the beginning of the video. We went through all the tweets that were recent since yesterday, because obviously I was live streaming twice yesterday on Pulsechain, since it was such an epic fun. And this is my favorite tweet. So 4 hours ago, can you imagine a world with PLS, EHEX, and PHEX number 1, 2, and 3 market cap? And then he posted this. I love this. This is just this is the sassiness of Richard, right? It's almost speaking it into being, as it were. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex is obviously rising pretty dramatic. So awesome stuff. The word's just getting out there. The communities are spreading it. It's going to be pretty epic. And yeah, that's it. So it looks like the last one he did was 4 hours ago. So nothing new since we've been in the live stream. So we have really covered that quite well. And here's obviously the official site. Remember, this is the main part. Every dollar you get, you're going to get 10,000 points, and one point equals 1 pulse. You can see that written up here. If you want to clear that, pulse supply increases with the amount sacrificed. The sacrifice set can mint 1 free pulse per sacrifice point. So obviously you're going to get a lot, 10,000 points per $1 sacrifice. So you can just start multiplying that up. I do have a video on this channel. We went through a spreadsheet, so you can check out the spreadsheet. It actually does. We did some playing around with those numbers. Ethereum holders only get 1 free PLS per ETH. That's a freemium airdrop. So if you're holding ETH, you'll get 1 per 1, which is not a lot. It's just enough for a little bit of transactions. And that's how that works. If the total supply isn't 10,000x higher than ETH, then everyone will get upscaled bonus. So that's a really cool upside. If that does eventuate, then you'll get upscaled your pulse amount, and that'd be pretty cool. And like I say, we talked about earlier, Alex I think said earlier, a lot of people will be probably staking their pulse and getting a nice passive income. And that will take a lot of the pulse off the market. Obviously, there's fee burning as well, so that will reduce the total supply. And there's no inflation, so there's not year after year inflation. So it's going to make pulse as time goes on, especially as adoption on the chain goes up. More existing projects from Ethereum start using and building on top of it, and also new projects, new DeFi builds on there too. The other side of it you may not have thought of is that there could be investment vehicles set up to funnel big investors and cash flow coming in from, say, Wall Street or private investors, VCs. All that stuff's possible in the future, especially with a chain that's big, and also investment indexes, crypto firms that do specialized investments. And if Pulsechain gets ranked up onto exchanges, onto indexes, and doesn't get gatekept at all, which I imagine it's going to be much harder to do, then that will also, potentially get pulled into some investment vehicles like that. So there's lots of upside potential in the future. Obviously, ETFs as well. Could be ETFs for that as well if it's dominating crypto. So there's lots of potentials up there. Obviously, it's a system state copy is going to be a really interesting time, and we'll find out what happens. No one knows the future 100%, and so it's going to be pretty interesting. All right, so pretty cool on that. And don't forget, there's a multiplier bonus. So earlier is better and bigger is better, particularly if you're using stable coins, a fixed US dollar amount, because US dollar amount's the amount that counts. But of course, some people are going to average in over time, particularly the first 5 days, and try and get a better price in US dollars if they're sacrificing non-stable coins. Particularly, obviously, the easiest one to move is Hex, because the liquidity is relatively small, and people, this is the scarcity potentially could get less, and also the supply demand, is higher than supply, as everybody has the same common goal to push the price up to get a better USDC, or at least the last buyers. So that's where the chart's looking at the moment on Hex. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Probably quite volatile, moving up and down in that range. There are obviously sellers coming into the market as the price goes up. There are people with different games. They may not want to go into Pulsechain. They may just have some Hex and they want to sell that Hex down. So there's going to be a bit of that entering the fray. So we'll just watch that over time. It's going to be interesting. But I kind of think that that's going to, now that we broke over 15 cents, it's more likely that we'll go up, in my view, particularly with obviously the sacrifice phase only just begun. But that's just my opinion, not investment advice at all. And you need to do your own due diligence. It's just my opinion for entertainment purposes. So there we are. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Hit the bell for further notifications, and of course, consider supporting this channel as we grow. And we've got to hit the join button. You've got 4 different options: Axionites, Elites, Heroes, and Krakens, and offer different perks. And big shout outs in the chat as well. And we've got some awesome members in there already. Only launched about 4 or 5 days ago, so going good. All right, so that's where that's at the moment. I think we're wrapping up about 1:45. I'm going to go up into the chat here and probably wrap up some of these questions, and then we might end up just finishing off. Polaris, have you already sacrificed? Did you have to enter a memo? No, I haven't done that side of it, Polaris, myself, with the memo. You make sure to use the official site, so you don't for that. For non-Ethereum, I think there may have to do that. Alex might know. Yes, but only Ether assets so far for me. I think you need memo for some blockchains like XRP. Just be careful when sacrificing. Yeah, I agree with Alex on that. I haven't done a non-ETH sacrifice, so I agree with 100% with Alex that with that comment. Nikita, we're looking at future millionaire wallets. Yeah, a good chance of that, Nikita, in my view, but not investment advice. Hollywood, the guy on Telegram who thought he saw funds leaving the account didn't realize that the donated price changes on price fluctuations. He probably only noticed the surge and pullback in the price of Hex. Yeah, I think that was the case, Hollywood. I had, because the reason why I was a bit thing I wanted to confirm that is because the Hex numbers hadn't really changed. It had just gone up, obviously dramatically. So good. Thanks for checking that, Hollywood. Much appreciate that. Rashida 106. Why did total sacrifice price go down? Went from 123 to 116. Because the price of Hex is going down dramatically, and most of the Hex, most of the sacrifices in Hex. So if you see the Hex price change a lot, the sacrifice amount will change dramatically. So that's why you've got look at the hexes, the big bags. Obviously the stable coins are increasing, but really is that hex amount. This is not the total members. This is the total for the ETH chain. Doesn't include non-ETH chain sacrifices. I'll try and get some of those up and running, maybe for tomorrow's live stream or something like that. And Rashid at 106, I noticed the price is changing. It went from 123 to 116. Yeah, so we just talked about that. It's really the Hex price is moving around. I just replied, price fluctuations and price of what is donated go up and down. This changed the donated amount. That's right. Good one there, Hollywood Trader. And M. O'Brien, _USA. Welcome to the USA. So after the sacrifice period is over, we receive our pulse. We need to move it out of the wallet after we transferred from. Is that right? Or can you comment? So yeah, that's not for the Pulse chain. It's just for the freemium airdrop to ETH holders. They'll get 1-for-1 for the Ethereum. And after the sacrifice, I don't believe that applies to them at all. If you're into the sacrifice, you will then just either have to claim it or it will be airdropped. But I think they'll probably have us mint the Pulse. I'm just not sure that stage. I've seen nothing on that yet. I'm trying to think through Richard's comments. Yeah, I think he made some mention to it yesterday in his video. I might go back and watch that, but I don't believe so. I think we'll probably end up having to mint it because that's what we did in the Hex phase under the Howey rule. If you're sacrificing, you don't want it to be a security, so you expect no work from others, and so therefore you really would need to mint it, just like we did in the Hex phase. We had to basically mint our own Hex out of the auction, and so we bid in Ethereum and then mint out our not bid in Ethereum, but we'd put in, well, it's kind of an auction, but really we put in Ethereum and we expect nothing back, but then we mint our own Hex off, and I guess that's how we would do Pulse. If we've got the same principles applied, we expect nothing from work of others, we sacrifice, and therefore we end up minting. He calls it a reward, so that's how I think it's going to play. I don't think that's on the website on that one. Hex Pulse is called PX. Yeah, I don't think that was on there. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up minting it, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I will try and find out a bit more information on that one, but that's the way I see it at the moment. Nikita, XRP people have to enter a memo, right? That sounds right. Yeah, I think that's correct. So I think there's memos for some of the non Ethereum tokens. I haven't done any myself, so I can't speak specifically to that. But yeah. All right, well, we're at 150 minutes, so we're doing pretty well. We've got no updates from Twitter, but keep watching Richard's stuff. There's some real gold there. Obviously, you can come back and check this channel. There's no updates at the moment. He's maybe asleep at the moment, who knows? But that's the website. This is the official DApp. Make sure you use the official sites because there's scammers out there wanting to take your sacrifice. So make sure that you only use the official sites. I've got the links in the below. You can go check those. Obviously, you can, once you get to a Pulse, pulse.info. You can connect your wallet and click the sacrifice. Once again, this is optional. You don't have to go into this. This is really people wanting to get a lot of Pulse tokens so that they can sort of be like ETH whales, have a decent bag. Some people have more than others depending on the US dollar amount that you end up getting timestamp for. Remember, it's based on the time weighted average price, which means every half an hour, if you're not using a stable coin, the value of that token when you put it in, or based on like a half an hour price. That's why some people are averaging in, saying putting 10% of their bag or 20%. and at different times on different days. So I know quite a few people doing that strategy, and obviously it's paying out for them today, because today so far it's been a better stamp price than it was earlier in the day. Obviously we haven't finished the first day yet, but if we actually go back to I think we can see on this one here. Oh no, not this one. Let's go to the Hex one. Just this is probably a good example, and we'll go back and see how many hours we're actually into the sacrifice now. We were coming up on 19 hours before, and I think we can just go and quickly check here. Let's go to the last. So we've got 300 pages now already on the Hex. Pretty epic. So yeah, 19 hours, 20 hours, folks, 20 hours, which is probably a good time to finish this live stream. We've got 4 hours to go in the day one, and there's 19 days. Amazing, amazing. This is going to be a fun ride, folks, and entertaining, right? It's going to be entertaining. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? So there we are, folks. Hey, we're heading up towards 100 million. We've been over 100 million, but it's pretty awesome. We're heading up to 600 million on the Hex. I can't wait till that gets to 1 billion. That's going to be pretty epic. As we know, there is 61 billion Hex staked, and there's 572.53 billion Hex circulating, but we know most of that's in the Origin wallet. It means it's not owned by individuals, and that amount that is owned, and obviously Uniswap as well, the Uniswap liquidity, and a few other contracts, but and some centralized exchanges, but the liquidity squeeze is getting less and less and less on the Hex supply that's in the liquid, generally speaking, especially with strong staker hands, diamond hands as they were in staking. After those T shares, you can see T shares $3,000, mind blowing stuff. This is just crazy, and it's still early days. I mean, Richard's talking about not lighting his candles to $1 Hex, so pretty interesting stuff like that. And yeah, so there we are. All right, Dan, where we're finishing on Bonomics at the moment, still sitting around. Oh, we're back down to 94 billion. So it's going to move around a lot as the price of Hex moves around. So you can look forward to that. But yeah, interesting stuff ahead. All right, I think we've covered that pretty well. We're hour and 52. And Brian says, appreciate it. Hey, you're welcome. Emo Brian and Alex K. What a ride indeed. Jim Bob says, what's the best coin to sacrifice to avoid fees? Hey, I mean, you've got to choose that, Jim Bob. In terms of fees, I don't know whether some of the non-Ethereum chains are cheaper, but I mean the fees are not too bad at the moment. 27 Gwei. I mean at the moment. So what's you can actually do slow Gwei. Let me see what the Gwei is. Yeah, 25 is medium speed, so you could try that. But or you could just wait till Sunday, because Sunday will be still in the first 5 days. There'll probably be cheaper fees on the ETH chain, typically in the weekend. So that would still qualify you. So you could try that too. Jim Bob on that one. But I'm not sure which ones are the cheaper. Maybe XRP is pretty cheap, so you could try that. Some of the cheaper chains. I haven't been on those chains for a long time recently, so I used to spend a lot of time on those, but obviously been on the ETH a lot. So yeah, either if you're doing ETH chain, try the weekend. Like typically Sunday's the cheapest on Gwei, and you're still in that first 5 day period, so you're still getting the $1 for 10,000 points. The other side of it, of course, is maybe XRP or somewhere like that. Whatever's typically got the cheaper prices, you can use one of those. Interesting videos. Hex is making me money. Very happy. Hey, interesting videos. I'm so glad for you. I really appreciate your comments over the many months, and I try to respond to as many of them as possible. So I really wish you the best. Interesting videos. You've always been a good supporter of this channel. Much appreciated. And Jim Bob, thanks for the help. I think that's a great place to finish, Jim Bob. Thanks for the help. I think that's really great. And I just want to say thanks for everybody for watching. Really do appreciate it. And onwards and upwards. This is going to be a fun time. And I hope make sure that you always use official sites. Don't want anybody, making a mistake, sending money to scammers only. If you decide to go on a sacrifice, use the official channels, please. Really do due diligence. Don't get overexcited, and make sure that you check. Obviously, the official links in the video description, but go when you log on, go check the official ones, and that's easy. All right. So hopefully have a good time. Jim Bob says awesome. Hey, awesome stuff there. Nice to see that. Thanks, Jim Bob. Really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Alex, of course, our head moderator. Awesome job. You always do. And always appreciate all your assistance and huge knowledge. And onwards and upwards can be a fun time. And I look forward to your next 20%. update that you've gone in with your next 20% sacrifice. Until then, catch me tomorrow. I'll be on later today with the auction close for Axion, where you bid in Ethereum into the auction. We have them daily, and you get wrapped Bitcoin dividends. We have our biggest auction today, so if you want to join and see my face again, Superman is my moniker, then you can see me tonight at then, and a good chance Alex will be on there as well. All right, ciao for now, and all the best.